been a little bit since the last stream, but what I wanted to touch on today was Dig. Dig.com, our favorite little website, is back with a vengeance. So clearly they were popular some many years ago. It was one of the first sites, like Dig Nation, the podcast that went along with Dig.com, was one of the sort of the first things that inspired me to start creating content. And for those of you who don't know, TechAU started as a podcast at techau.tv and then migrated to a WordPress site to the .com.au that we have today. And so dig.com's got a kind of fond in my memory, and I guess I'll take you through the website, what we're looking at the moment, take you through the new revised website and my thoughts on it. But yeah, as we do this, I think I'll touch on some stories from the good old days, if you like. And I'm somebody who never thought I'd really say that, but I guess at early 40s, it's 20 something years ago. Feels like a long time. Anyway, so we've got basically, dig.com, and they basically came out of private beta this week. So they've been developing this for quite a while. It's the familiar story where you can upvote, downvote different stories. And of course, this is now in the background of Reddit sort of being the 1,000-pound gorilla. And so then we're launching into communities. And so when you set up your account on Dig, you get to choose communities. They've got a nice sort of community graphic over on the side here. Quick little summary of the stats. So how many members, how many posts, and a description the creator would get to choose. Then we move into the about, so a bit more down here, and some will fill this out and some won't, I guess. But then founded by, so this particular one, finance, as you'd imagine, it's pretty high level. That is created by Dig itself. And then the top contributors in the last 30 days. And we'll get to what these scores are a little bit later. Ledger is an interesting one. Ledger is obviously, relating to the crypto side of things, but there is nothing to report at this stage. And funnily, the devs say, enjoy the free real estate. But yeah, so I've sort of joined the Australia channel, books. I don't think I remember joining that. Cars, Dig itself. I expect they're going to publish updates. You'll see a post from me here in the Dig channel before. So you just new post and then you get into that. This was Dig Big Spy back in the day. And as news stories would come in, this was like the breaking news, or I guess a feed of the brand new stuff that hit the site. And it was really cool because it would use the how many interactions or views, I guess, that number on the right there in red, to scale the size of the text. And so you could very quickly see stories gaining momentum, which even now on the modern platforms, like X and that sort of stuff, we don't really have an semblance of that until something sort of tips over the point where it reaches the trending algorithm or on the For You pages. So yeah, this is sort of your experience on Dig. And then, of course, you can join a bunch more communities. If we go view all, this is quite a nice UI. I quite like how they've done this. And I think the creator gets to, if you create one of these, then you get to choose the background image and draw people in. There are, of course, the default ones from Dig themselves. Yeah, so that's cool. And I think the mobile app experience is quite awesome as well. It is in some ways better than the desktop app. This doesn't have sort of scaling. I'm on quite a large monitor at the moment, and it obviously has a lot of free space, negative space on the outside there, but not to worry. Let's go to my profile. So if you are going to join Dig, or you already are, then you can get to my account by dig.com/, and then they're including the @ symbol. I don't think it works if you just do the TechAU. No. So there's a trick for young players. It's a bit like Reddit where you had to do /r to get to your community. It was a weird quirk, but yeah, something they're doing. So this is me, and you can see my pinned communities on the right-hand side here. Achievements are coming soon, apparently. It'll sort of give you the stats over here. So 6 posts, 4 comments, 12 dug, and 0 gems. Now, I seen a number in the Dig app last night that was quite a bit higher than 12. 12 dogs is the one that I've done, I guess. And then when we do like this kind of interaction and notification, you'll see the experience. So I did a post where I'll take you into the new post screen in a second, but you give it a headline, description, and then you can add links, you can add graphics, you can, do whatever you want. And then they have this app that's this is definitely new. This never used to exist. Obviously, this is using an AI model to do a summary, so TLDR. So if you don't want to read a really long article, you don't want to even click through the link, it's giving you a top level view into what that content is. And then, 46 upvotes on that is kind of cool. And then, just the comment section below, and they get upvoted, downvoted, that kind of thing. You can sort them on most dug, most buried, newest, oldest, that kind of thing. New posts. Let's have a look at this section. So choose an audience. This obviously will find the most recent ones that you've joined. So it might be around Tesla. Give it a title, give it a body. This says, 10,000 characters to play with here. That's kind of cool. And then as I mentioned, you can drop a URL in. So I might just go and grab, let's grab one from my site on Tesla. All right, my review of the Model Y. That'll work. All right, so if I'm going to do this, then let's really pretend we're going to do this. I don't know, what the hell, maybe even I'll post it. So then this is the part that I don't know how much I should really be including in here. No, I don't want to dump it all in the title. Thank you very much. In the body. Well, that's a weird copy and paste. Maybe that's a bug. Yep, I think that's a bug. Anyway, so we'll put the title back there, and then we've got a link, right? So this is the cool bit where what I've experienced when I first went to Dig, when I first played with this, it was only yesterday, the day before when it went live, may have been even as recent as yesterday. There was an issue where it wasn't really going and extracting the feature image of that site and then rendering it in the browser window here. And so then I seen a new update to Dig, and so they've already basically iterated it, and you can see now that it's doing what it needs to. So it is actually highlighting something here that says similar stories have already been shared in the last 48 hours. This is actually around a Model Y, the Euro NCAP rating. Now that's not the same as a review, so clearly I'm okay with that, but it is sort of suggesting that you may want to just chill on the post. I'm okay with that because mine is different. And then look at that, it's actually returned multiple images from that link that I get to choose from. That is actually really cool. I like that. And to be honest, I'd really like if WordPress did that too. They kind of make you work for the feature image. So I'm going to hit publish on that, and then it's going to go off into the interwebs, into the Tesla Motors channel. And this isn't, Tesla official running this. There's 14 members at this stage, so quite early. Now, I did see a couple of other Tesla channels, so this is going to be a bit of a land grab, I think, as we relaunch Dig. But if I search for Tesla, now that might have just been searching my communities. Let's go for all communities and then search. There's going to be multiple. So, a home for Tesla owners and enthusiasts. Tesla, interesting. There was more than that the other day. But anyway, we go to here, and then we've got 56 members. So, clearly, when you compare to something like Reddit, there's a lot more activity, a lot more people on there. And yeah, the idea here is that the best content should float to the top. So on the main feed, maybe we should have started here, but the main feed here is what's trending / a bit of AI algorithm management to give you the best stuff. My feed, I guess, is straight from the communities that you've subscribed to or joined. And then the latest would be an alpha, daytime, A to Z sort. All of Dig, and then you get a choice of trending, most dug, and the latest. So this is quite funny, a bit of nostalgia, and it's I didn't have that size or that old of a desktop, but certainly that kind of monitor and speakers at the early days. Now, this is a good one. So this was the OG, the original design of what Dig used to look like. And this post is all about one of the biggest stories when the Blu-ray encryption got broken and they basically posted it to the web. I think there was a lot of, a lot of not wanting that to go to the world. And then obviously once it blew it up on Dig, then it was everywhere. So that was kind of a cool moment in Dig history. But yeah, my little sort of story, I guess, about this is the Dig front page was mega at the time. It was insanely popular. And if you're a content creator, your goal is to get your content in front of as many people as possible. Or often that's the goal. That's not the case for everybody, but if you got to the front page of Digg, that drove a lot of traffic to your site. So it was definitely something that people liked to do. And I achieved that one day. And then having seen my website go to the top and things, flowing through Google Analytics and that traffic going really well, I then seen the site go offline, and people started reporting that to me, and then I got a call. I got a call from a web host at the time, and they asked very quickly, and they're like, "Hey, what did you do?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What did I do?" And they're like, "Well, your website is throwing enough traffic at us that means we basically can't do business, and we had to turn you off." And look, that's a good problem to have. But clearly, when you are on the front page, you want to have all that traffic flow to your site. And if it's down, that's eyeballs that are being lost and potential revenue with ad revenue. So that was a good day at the office, let's say, but interesting, something I learned from a lot in terms of web hosting and are you where you really need to be for a site of a certain scale. And that made me reconsider and ultimately move away from that host. But yeah, it's been an interesting journey, but that was a little Digg sort of anecdote that I had and my experience of getting to the front page. Now, can I guarantee that it's going to be the same experience if you get to the front page of Digg now? Probably not. I mean, it just came out. I don't know what the numbers are, but I hope in time that they're pretty transparent about what the audience is for Digg. But I hope that it succeeds. I really do, because I like the layout. I like the UI. I like the sort of the inherent system of control of up-down vote. We don't see that a lot anymore. It's not on, it's not on X, it's not on Facebook, Instagram, those kind of things. Yes, you get to like things, and that sort of is an indicator to the algorithm. But the downvote, I think, is kind of, important. Now, you can see what happened there. I buried the content, and then it's going to take that as a data point to say, hey, I didn't like that, and don't show me that kind of thing, or as much of that kind of thing. Now, one other thing that I need to touch on is probably one of the best features that they've come up with, and that is this Digg Daily. So whether it's on the mobile app, it works really well on there, but also on the desktop, you come to Digg and you go Digg Daily, and what happens then? So let me just turn on desktop audio, and I'm not sure how loud this is. Let's go.
Today on Digg Daily,
for when you want to know what's going on, but not too much.
First, GOG's new owner slams Windows, calling it poor quality software.
And in an interesting twist, Bandcamp bans AI music to protect human artists.
Meanwhile, YouTube adds story comes from TheVerge.com, written by Stevie Bonifield. Parents can now put a time limit on YouTube.
Alrighty. So I think you just kind of got a picture of what Digg Daily is. So it will give you the news highlights. Obviously, this is powered by AI. And I really love the way this is implemented. I think, a lot of these services try and play around with this stuff. Like Spotify tried to play around with a DJ that was sort of tailored to you and what you liked, and turn that experience of music listening into more of a radio station. Alexa, turn on the lights in the office. Hey Google, turn on the lights in the office. All right, so why did that happen? It just hit 10 o'clock. I've got an automation set up that, bit of a reminder I should consider bed, but it's Friday night, so maybe not. So where I was at, basically Digg Daily is awesome. And I really think they've done a great job of extracting the, really relevant stories, like a top 5. And the voice is amazing. It's super human, as in human-like. And I really like listening to it. So I've sort of started to make that a bit of a behavior, and I would actually like that to be a podcast that I could subscribe to and listen to, and maybe have opportunities to really build that out and say, give me an expanded version of, like, I want to know everything about that topic. Like, I like the summary and let me dive deeper in audio form. So that would be just maybe a feature suggestion. But as a whole, I'm really kind of impressed with what we've got so far. I think there is still a lot of UI that can happen and make this more visual. I like the visual element of being inside a community, but when you're on that front page, I think there's something at the top that needs to be a bit more bold and visual. Maybe they pick off the first story and sort of make a real feature of that sort of goes across to grab your attention. That's the top story of the day or of the feed. But yeah, ultimately, that is Dig, and they do have a bit of a swag store as well. I was just looking at this snapback before. That looks pretty sick. Definitely tempted. But yeah, Dig Nation's the podcast that goes with it. I'm sure they'll talk a lot about it. They hinted at this for the last few episodes that it was coming. The Dig public launch, and then now it's live. So 2 days ago, there we go. So I was right. And 333 comments and 1,100 upvotes. So you can see from those numbers that we're not exploding the world or anything. This is not breaking records, but I think there's going to be a lot more video. Would be my suggestion. Just how big video is in the world and how big TikTok and those kind of things are. It'd be hard not to see this Dig Daily not evolve into a video feed as well. But that'll do for now. That is my quick little rundown of the refresh dig.com. I'm glad to see it back. It's got a fond place in my heart and hopefully yours as well. Cheers.